Well, hey guys, I got to spend last weekend with Justin and Amy. Should I say the family and I got to spend last weekend with Justin and Amy of the Good of the Land channel. While we were there, we butchered a few hogs. We were really wanting to do a how-to video on butchering hogs. We did 3 kind of as a practice run, and it was already getting late in the evening, so we're planning on doing the video the next day, but we didn't have a chance to. So unfortunately, I guess that video will have to wait. But, Justin was nice enough to send me home with the 3 hogs that we butchered. They're small wild hogs, and I'm going to grind them up and make some pan sausage. There's not much fat on a wild hog. It'll be fairly lean sausage, but every bit of fat that I have is going into the sausage to help make it a little more juicy, so it won't be so dry. I don't have a good scale, so the bathroom scale will have to do. Because I got 23.4 pounds. I figured this container weighs at least half a pound, so I'll go with that. This grinder came from Northern Tool and Equipment. I believe I paid about $90 for it about 10 years ago. It's definitely not the best grinder in the world, but the best thing about it is that it comes with a pulley. And I'll get that on here in a minute after I get the grinder put together. For the motor, I got an old washing machine motor my brother gave me. I built the box for it, and he wired it up, because I'm pretty clueless when it comes to wiring things up. It comes in handy having an electrician for a brother. Alright, these Northern Tool and Equipment grinders have some ball bearings around the worm gear, or at the end of the worm gear. And I always lubricate them with petroleum jelly. And this tub of petroleum jelly was bought specifically for my grinder. I'll wipe that mess off my fingers. Before I do any grinding, I got mineral oil in this bottle, and I'll coat everything with mineral oil. It'll make cleanup a lot easier. You won't have meat sticking to everything. And it's a number 32, I forgot to mention that. So I got my bearings lubricated. I'll slide them over the worm gear. Bottom's out. I also coated the knife and the plate with mineral oil. A couple years ago I used vegetable oil to coat everything with, and I stored it. Don't use vegetable oil. It gunks up and it cakes up, and it's just a pain to get off. So stick with mineral oil on your grinders. You want to get this as tight as you can by hand. Then after you cut the grinder on, it may loosen up a bit. You might have to tighten it up a little bit more. Now it's time for the pulley. There's a key stock that goes in here to lock it onto the worm gear, keep it from spinning on the worm gear, and then just a washer and a nut that screws in place. That's it. Now we're ready to grind. I know it would be best to have all 4 bolts on this tight, but all I do is put it in place on the rear 2 screws back here, and then I can push it up and down, and that'll adjust the tension on the belt. I'll push it down where the belt is kind of snug, and I'll just tighten these 2 down, and that keeps the belt tight. All right, cut it. For the seasoning, I really like this stuff. It's made by a local company. Now this is a 1 pound package of seasoning, and it's 450 pounds of meat, so that tells me it's a 1:50 ratio. But I don't have a proper scale to measure out the seasoning, so I know I have about 23 pounds of meat. I'm just going to divide the seasoning in half in these 2 cups, and just do that. I really did not expect this little package of seasoning to fill up both cups. But that worked out okay. I think I'm going to call that good. I could play around with it, but I don't think I'm going to get it any better. So I know each one of these cups should be good for 25 pounds of meat, and since I have 23, I'm just going to go ahead and add a whole cup to my sausage, or to my meat, and I'm not worried about that extra 2 pounds of meat that's not there. It'll maybe just be a little more spicy. Shouldn't hurt a thing. While I was getting the grinder set up and measuring out the seasoning, I put the meat back in the refrigerator. It's important to keep the meat cold. One day I'm going to build some proper legs for this table. One day. And I know there's people who disagree with me on seasoning my meat before it's ground. And when I argue that well, I had one person argue with me one time that the seasoning, if you put the seasoning on the outside of the meat, there's no way it can get to the inside. I just kind of laughed it off because, you know, when you put it in a grinder, what's going to happen to it? It's just going to get all mixed together. And I like to run it through the grinder twice. So what I'll do is I'll grind it once and kind of mix it up a little more, and then run it through the grinder one more time just to make sure everything is mixed up very well. little bit, I usually throw it away just because whatever rough might have been left beside the plate. I'm done with the first grind. Just gonna mix it up one more time and run it through the grinder once more. I guess I didn't need that, did I? You definitely do not want to stick your fingers in there. You won't have any fingers left. I need that though. Let me go wash that off and use it. That's one thing I forgot to mention. When you're grinding meat, do not ever stick your fingers down in there. You'll lose a finger for sure. I just gotta clean up everything. Now to get it all wrapped, I'll just put it in Ziploc bags. And of course we gotta try it out. Smells good. It's a very lean sausage. All the bubbling action you see is water cooking out of it. It was in the ice chest for 3 days and I forgot to drain the water off, so the meat soaked up some water. There's nothing wrong with it. It'll cook out. Now that the water is cooked off of it, you can see how dry it is. It's a very lean sausage. Looks like it should be done. Now all we gotta do is try it out. It don't have to be breakfast time to enjoy some sausage. A little mustard and some pepper jack cheese, and we'll be set. Now that's a sandwich. That's some good stuff right there. Appreciate y'all watching, and we'll see you on the next one.